Rakan comes through over the
Okay,
Rel.
so that's going to put the Gragas top lane. Interesting.
Rel got nerfed, but I don't know if it was enough to warrant just completely being left out of this draft. It's interesting. It's a pretty good choice into the Senna, but I really feel like Rel would have been so much better for team fights with this composition.
Yeah,
Gragas goes
the
top.
Oktoberfest boy up here on the top side of the map is quite amusing. There's nothing really much coming from it, as there's the grand entrance. Landing under the kitty cat. Deft there, though, as the Dawning Shadow comes down, but it is still first blood going over to the Olaf. Gideon puts down that reckless swing and collects the
make a play. Now he's trying to look for something back here.
Yep, Doran
Greedy.
looking for a little bit of an engage here, but as you can see, it's a fight on two fronts. Doran not quite able to get in there, as the Olaf has to flash to get himself out of the way. Vista is so tanky right now as the cask does basically nothing. Morgan still has his ulti available, because they're the ones with onus on them, right? As now Doran looking for that other flank opportunity. Deft in pretty good position to avoid it, though, as Morgan, he's just soaking. But, I mean, when is Morgan ever going to die? He has Devour, he has Piercing Darkness, he has Primal Surge, he has Command Protect. It's an unkillable Scion problem, Wolf.
Yeah, this is really bad. You can see the Scatter the Weaks feel like they're healing him as, uh-oh, Doran out of position. But here comes the Rakan flank I was talking about.
Yep, Zeus, quickness already pops as he gets into the backline. Only knocks up the Tahm Kench, though, as there's the big barrel into the backline. But look, Dawning Shadow and Humble Life Esports say, okay, is that all you got?
That's it.
We're going to take ourselves an Infernal Drake and we'll bid you adieu.
And that's it, Atlas. I mean, if you don't hit that,
Morgan just walks towards Gideon. He can't enter the fight as there's a shockwave onto only Doran, who'll get knocked up. Grand entrance is there, but look at Morgan. He can take this turret for about 5 million years.
Yeah.
He won't need to because the turret won't survive. I mean, I know who I'm voting for. The large lumberjack over ethereal turret thing shooting laser
How
beams.
are
How are KT supposed to siege this? Like,
it's so predictable, everything that they could do.
Like, they can throw a Void Seeker in maybe, and Johan's just said, no, Zeus, you're not actually able to flank, you'll just pop.
Yeah, that's
and he
what I'm talking
100% will.
He gets hit by a spear, and it's like, well, now you can't even do anything.
And it's like, Deft hasn't even hit critical mass. As there's the Devour in the middle of the cask, as the Shockwave says no to the body slam. Zeus gets in with the quickness, but where's the follow-up? It does not exist. The Olaf just popped. Dawning Shadow almost picks up two, and they're unable to make it out. KT have absolutely no answer to Harmon Life Esports right now. It's Infernal Soul time, and if I was Harmon, just go to the Baron, right? Deft will keep you alive, and then wait for them to come to you. As Zeus,
it's not even over.
Back in just a little bit there, as Yukal wants to help out the Decimating Smash, and then the minions take care of it. Morgan, cool guys don't look at explosions. Vista presses Devour because it was up, and you may as well.
Once Nearly does rejoin. Oh, getting spread thin.
Yeah, in goes the train. There's the shockwave combo. Immediately the Rakan just explodes. As you can see, Morgan. Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Drake timer. And I don't know if KT are going to get a lucky steal on that one.
Well, Morgan is just standing here in front of 3 people.
He does not
big
care.
old shield as the spear is going to miss. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Yukal is going to have to flash here towards the top side of the map. And Morgan, I think they almost did a damage to him, but I don't know. Shockwave going to be used onto Hybrid only on the backside, and that means that all of the damage is unavailable. He's been ragdolled through the sky. Flash out once again, and KT, they just have nothing. They can't do anything in these fights. It's so hard.
It's
in all of these instances, as the Infernal. Let's see whether Doran can actually do something meaningful here as Deft thrown into the middle of the fight, but unfortunately, Gideon can't really do anything. They do manage to pop him as the Killer Instinct comes into the backline, but have they done enough is the question. Johan gonna have to get out of there. The Devour used onto Chovy. Morgan flashes and stays alive, and look, even though the center isn't there, so much of their damage gone, but it's still hard for KT. And well, Humble Life, they actually want to win a team fight before they go for this. They want no more of these shenanigans where a bunch of abilities are thrown at them, as Morgan presses his ult button and then the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He's tanking a lot as there's a Dawning Shadow. Morgan gets a huge shield as Yukal off to the side. 2-man Shockwave is good onto Zeus and onto Gideon. And Yukal, just nothing that he can do. And it's a war of attrition that Humble Life Esports are looking to now take advantage of the game. But now it almost looks comical how difficult it is for KT to utilize this comp. As you can see, Morgan, one turret was not enough. He needs to absorb the damage of multiple. As he's just going to run at Yukal here. There's the shockwave again, and Yukal is obliterated. 0-3 now for the Syndra as Deft picks up a kill from downtown. Now Hybrid desperately trying to do damage, but he just can't. Chovy executes him. And now Gideon, the Olaf, unfortunately just relegated to the fountain. And Humble Life show us a beautiful example of Draft Kingdom
Easy peasy.
They'll surround this fountain and demonstrate to KT this is how you're supposed to get it done, and they do so very, very nicely as Morgan amps up his Nexus damage by getting himself killed. That is the sign of a true Scion Lord, as the rest of his team not wanting to actually hit the Nexus at all, so maybe a little bit out of sync, but that's fine. Just having a bit of fun on the enemy fountain. HLE Esports do manage to take game one.
I mean, it was very, very basic.
Hybrid that was deemed the issue.
And
that being said, maybe it's not actually that, and maybe they just want to try something fresh.
I mean, we saw Noah in the Kespa Cup.
Maybe he's just a pocket Lee Sin god. As Vista's going to lock away the Leona. We'll have to see how that one is going to go, as once again, Leona into Thresh. A decision that is quite odd, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it can be good, you know, if the Thresh is going to be trained to actually collapse in when his death sentences come through, but in the lane, you're not often going to be doing that.
But there is still so much damage potential as Deft. Just going to try and walk past him. Q connected already, though, and it should be just first blood. Very comfortably taken, as Gideon will be able to pick this one up. And look, we were talking about win conditions. Johan's level 6 and Gideon's level 6 as well.
Yukal's looking for
Yukal, yep.
So predictable.
It's going to be so easy, man. I don't know.
Like, how do you not see
set up this lane so beautifully.
He saw him on the Raptors. They knew he was there. You can't walk forward like that. This is just
enough to mean that because you have a jungler that can farm really fast, you're just going to win by default. But that is not HLE, because now we're going for a 2v2 kill on the bottom side, and so easily HLE do manage to take that one down. This is why HLE Esports can breathe a little easier, as there's a flash forward. Zenith played first. You love to see it as Chovy grabs himself the kill, and that one was personal.
That was so well handled by HLE Esports. Just see blood in the water, you commit. You are absolutely ready for the flash there. Vista just had his finger on the trigger.
Oh, there's
Where
the
are you at?
That is going to find him, and Johan just executes him with a spear. HLE Morgan, as it turns out.
You know, the other thing, too, about that... Oh,
Shockwave.
Here we go, once
again. But Relentless Pursuit, one hell of an ability, and the culling
Doran, though,
is going to come through. Yep, but there's a train here as well, and they're going to turn it. Immediately, Gideon gets executed, and it's such a fine line they're treading. Chains of Corruption coming down here. Deft completely runs out of mana, and Vista is just dead. Too many chakrams, and Noah also has Severum. It's such an explosive lane. Varus and Leona. Speaking of Leona, she is going to kill Yukal. I saw the shockwave for a moment, but it was not real.
You can't be here,
the
Gideon!
Kickback onto Vista. Gideon safeguards himself to relative safety. Find the sign.
I guess so, you know.
Well, Shirley also going to be put down a long way up the lane, as there's the cleanse. That does get Noah to relative safety, but HLE... Ooh, Chains of Corruption miss. Unfortunate for Deft, as the hook is going to connect there onto Morgan. His ulti does absolutely nothing, but Chovy buys a lot of space with that culling. It's a very expensive back massage if you're paying in health bar. HLE will now just continue putting that pressure on as Chovy dashes forward. Zeus just gets popped. That's the power of the Gale Force. It's a fadeaway shockwave. Does absolutely nothing relevant.
So significantly in this game that he just can't kill anybody by himself, and he can't team fight. Looking for a kick.
Yep, Morgan is going to get kicked back. He's down to 50% health. Moonlight Vigil does come out as Gideon almost gets murdered by his Scion, but thankfully the rest of his team is there, and Aphelios is going to be able to pick up that kill. Morgan tidies up these minions as best he can. Control Ward still here doing its job, but Chovy should be able to just grab this. Solar Flare gets himself the slow, and then the Zenith Blade is so easy. Yukal having an unfortunate series thus far, unfortunately, of course. I just triggered myself, as thankfully a team fight did break off.
They didn't stop the push top, they didn't fully commit, they didn't push anywhere else on the map, it's just lose, lose, lose.
Well, now another team fight's going to break out. Another Zenith Blade is good as Noah takes the Lantern out. Moonlight Vigil goes to Narnia. There's now Doran trying to kite this one out. Pops the ultimate, tries to get him, but has to flash. Sterix goes off, and there is no payoff here for KT. He attempted the 4v5 as we have 5
the scuttle.
Oh, that was close to Deft being able to steal that one away, as another Solar Flare has to be flashed this time for Yukal.
A lot of resources used here for HLE.
This is the poke that we're talking about, is Chovy just dashing in and around everything. Gale forcing him out to safety, and Johan lands the spear! That's what we want from this guy, as Chovy gets around the back, has to flash, goes golden to avoid the Sonic Wave as Johan's here. Has the heal for Chovy as well, but he will be taken down. Yukal now in trouble off the back end, but the piercing arrow is not going to connect, and Vista in a bit of trouble. Johan flashes out, now pounces onto Johan, executes him! Is this why? Is this the Johan we've been waiting for? There's now Doran trying to dive on in, another Primal Surge for a massive health boost. and Morgan still feeling pretty unkillable as he gets pulled back. And
you
another arrow is going to connect. The poke comp that's just doing battle right now, and the flash on in. You had no right of being there, Noah, unfortunately. The arc has left, and Harmolife Esports are just looking for Doran.
They really overstayed their welcome here. But with this composition, I mean, there's a...
Oh, no, he read him like a book.
Easy peasy. They had no to take a team fight.
And you have to do it all in one as well, as Gideon is getting a little bit too low to be able to get anything done. As Doran is getting poked out by Deft as well. Noah wanting to be the hyper carry that we know the Aphelios can be, is yes, takes the land at the right time. Morgan, though, he just looks unkillable. Zeus in trouble as Deft once again charging up the piercing arrow. How much work's it going to do with Noah? Down to about half. Morgan somehow surviving. Even the chakrams just bounce off that metal body of this Scion.
Solar flare from Vista. And so there's actually a lot of peel for Morgan, so even though they almost kill him, like there's no way to turn.
Chance of corruption. And Noah, he's getting targeted here by Deft. He just wants to get him out of here as the Baron. It was a bit of an afterthought there, as you can see, as Doran looking for a bit more of a fight, but Zeus, he ain't going to be participating in this one. The rest of the team do find Doran, who's just trying to be a hero. There's not really too much of an option as Morgan gets kicked back. That's a lot of damage. He's got a big old health bar as Solar Flare collects 2 from Vista. Gideon desperately wants the lantern, but Zeus unfortunately actually breaks it.
Yeah.
He got stunned. Shield of Daybreak came down, so Zeus probably needed to just get the heck out of dodge. And Harmolife Esports, you know, the time of KT was the first 5 minutes of this game. It was short-lived. It was beautiful, but it is over.
It is over. And I mean, I feel like Doran needs to have more discipline in these moments. You know, in some of these moments where it's like, okay, we lost somebody, you can maybe kite back and actually contest the Baron, but not if you go in by yourself with no one else there and your health goes down to 20% instantly. You've got a lot of healing, but you need to have follow-up. This game is over.
Yeah, it certainly is. The pick, the poke, it's just too much of a problem here as somehow UCal mid-flash gets executed by Chovy, who's very upset with how the early game went and made sure that he got some revenge. But I just can't stop thinking about how good Johan has been throughout this whole game, throughout the series. To be perfectly honest, we're getting a real idea as to why he was subbed in over Arthur, and I'm really glad that we finally have. I feel like I had a lot of criticism for this guy, but damn, now we know. And Harmolife Esports looking good as they march towards the playoffs.
Game 2, KT Rolster take a huge risk with the, with this pick, putting Noah in onto, an Aphelios.